will restructure this country. Nigeria is a fraud. This country cannot go on like this. Nigeria is not one, and it can never be one. We are different nations tied together by force. We should still be one country, but let everyone govern himself the way he likes. Are you hearing me? Let the Niger Delta have their oil. Let the East have their resources. Let the Yoruba people have their resources. Let the North have their resources. Let them manage their...
Hello and what's up, guys? In this video we are diving into something every Nigerian needs to think about: the way this country is structured and why many believe it is built to favor the North and Muslims. Let's get straight into it. One Nigerian man said it outright: Nigeria either needs to split or go back to regional government. The way things are set up now just doesn't work. He believes the system is built to favor numbers and location. If you are from the north, you are likely a Muslim, and that gives you an edge in a system that prioritizes religion and numbers. For Southerners, the chances of becoming president are almost non-existent. And if you are wondering how Goodluck Jonathan, a Southerner, became president, it only happened because of the tragic death of President Yar'Adua. Another voice put it simply: until the constitution changes, nothing will change, no matter who is in power. Think about this. The central bank's operational department was set to move back to Lagos, but the North protested. When aviation colleges were split for better accessibility, the North opposed it again. And while Niger Delta oil benefit everyone, gold in Zamfara is controlled by a few elites with bandits guarding it for them. Southern resources are treated as national property, but northern resources, those are for the North alone. Wole Soyinka said it best: it is madness to think Nigeria will work without structuring. This is why the country remains chaotic. Different nations tied together by force. Can it really work without restructuring? Guys, I'll let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I am talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look and share your thoughts after watching.
I believe Nigeria has to split, or Nigeria has to go back into regionalism. Ideally, don't split, but go back into regionalism, because the way Nigeria is set up right now just does not work. I'm being honest with you. Nigeria is set up to support numbers, support your location, and if you are a northerner, as you can see, the north, I'm from the south, I'm a southerner. If you are from the north, you're most likely Muslim, and the way Nigeria is built to support religion and numbers, and the north have both. If you are from the south, the chances of you becoming the president of Nigeria is forgotten. I, as an Ibibio man from Akwa Ibom State, but I can never become president of Nigeria. I can never even become a top-ranking member of office, because I am from the southern part of Nigeria, and I'm But I'm going to say this even more. You see, a lot of the mess people hear about Nigeria typically comes from the north, from the terrorism to the illiteracy to the poverty. It's from the north. I'm going to go I'll make a deeper video on this, but let me show you guys some more. So this is how Nigeria is set up. You see, there's a southwest there, there's a south-south, and there's a southeast. That's the southern part of Nigeria. And if you look at the north, right, from north central to northwest to northeast, that's the bulk of Nigeria. Nigeria has 230 million people. The north has 60% of 230 million people, guys. Nigeria has 230 million people. The north has more than 60% of that number. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. If you take Nigeria and you split the south and the north, the southern part of Nigeria automatically becomes one of the best African countries. I'm telling you. I'm not saying Nigeria should split. I like Nigeria as it is on paper, because the numbers give us an advantage. The GDP as a collective gives us an advantage. However, we most definitely have to go back into regionalism so that people can have more autonomy over their regions. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, because right now Nigeria doesn't work. If you are not a northerner and you're not Muslim, forget it. Nigeria is built to support your religion, Islam, and support numbers, the north. That's why if you look at Nigeria, most of our presidents have been from the north. Let me show you more thing. If you look further into these details, you will see northern Nigeria is facing a raft of problems. It is economically disadvantaged compared to the rest of the country. That's a lie. The north of Nigeria is not economically disadvantaged. The north has about 43 minerals, solid minerals that are of commercial value. There is gold in the north. There is even oil in the north. There is every single commercial mineral you can find in the world. It's in the northern part of Nigeria. But the thing is this, the northern leaders, the northern elites want to focus on oil and gas in the south. And the northern elites deliberately keep the northerners poor and hungry because they're easier to control. They don't want to develop the north, because if you develop the north, the people cannot be your zombies anymore. So they keep them hungry, they keep them angry, they keep them poor, they keep them ignorant so that they're easier to control. This is what's going on in the northern part of Nigeria. This is it. This is the truth. So what I want to share with the global community is this. The bulk of the mess you hear about Nigeria comes from the northern part of Nigeria. From the poverty to the violence to the terrorism to the child marriages to the chaos. Most of it comes from the north. I'm not saying the south is perfect, absolutely not. But I'm telling you, if you separate the northern part of Nigeria right now and you separate the south, I kid you not, the southern part of Nigeria automatically becomes one of the best countries in Nigeria. Let me show you one more thing and then I'll shut up. So what you guys see here is the 25 most educated states in Nigeria. Okay, 25 most educated states in Nigeria. This is from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. This is from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, but I want to show you guys something. Let's take a look at some of the states, because I don't think I can go through all 25. So you have Imo State, Lagos State, Ekiti State. These three states are in the southern part of Nigeria, okay? Again, you have Rivers State, Abia State, Anambra State. Rivers State is in south-south, Abia State is in southeast, Anambra State is in south-southeast. Then you have Osun State. Osun State is in southwest. Edo State is in Niger Delta, south-south. Enugu State is in southeast. These are the top 25 educated states in Nigeria. Let's continue. Delta State is in the south-south. Bayelsa State is in the south-south. Kogi State is in the north. Somewhere in the north. Then you have Ogun State. Ogun State is in the southwest. Ondo State is in the southwest. Oyo State is in the southwest as well. Then you have Cross River State in the south-south. This is where my mother is from. Akwa Ibom State in the south-south. This is where my father is from. Federal Capital Territory. This is in the north. So you guys see, this is what I'm talking about. The most educated people in Nigeria come from the southern part of Nigeria. The most intellectually capable people come from the southern part of Nigeria. So imagine, because of the way Nigeria is set up, the average southerner can never get into leadership position because they're not a lot and because they're not Muslim. So this is how Nigeria is set up. Nigeria is set up to favor the northern part of Nigeria because they have more numbers and because they're Muslim. That's it. This is why Nigeria is chaotic. So most southerners now are calling for separation. Most southerners now are calling for regionalism because, dude, we are not going to leave the hand of our country in some guy who doesn't even know what it means to be educated. We're not going to give the future of our country and our location in the hands of somebody who probably doesn't understand the essence of, collaboration. Makes no sense. So that's why for me personally, as a southerner, I absolutely support regionalization. I support regionalism because it makes the most sense for my people. It makes the most sense for my state. I don't think, while I appreciate Nigeria and I think Nigeria needs to stay together, but we need to stay together as a confederacy. A federation does not work because what we have currently as a federation is a few people from the north deciding what happens for everybody else, and you have not even developed your region. How can you be in leadership position in Nigeria for over 2 decades and the north is still one of the most underdeveloped places in the world, in Nigeria, in Africa? I'll make a deeper video on this.
The next thing he should do, tell him if you know him, is to restructure this country. Nigeria is a fraud. One particular tribe repressing the whole of us. Did you hear what Central Bank governor wants to do? Just a department, the operation department of Central Bank, to be moved back to Lagos, where you have 99% of the headquarters of bank. The north is agitated. don't take Abuja back to Lagos. They don't care. If you all become beggars, it's okay for their oligarchic mentality. I talk like no other pastor talk. I talk like no other pastor talk. Because I have seen into governance, I have seen into the church. And I know where the problem is in this country. Are you hearing me? They may not like what I'm saying, but they cannot dispute the truth. This country cannot go on like this. Okay, I was talking about those who migrated. I don't blame those that want to japa. You know, initially I was saying don't japa. Do you hear me say that again? Japa if you want to japa. Because you look at the country and say, what future? If it goes on like this, what future? If it goes on like this, civil war is imminent. If it goes on like this, military intervention is imminent. Do we want to go back to that? No. Something must happen. I have always believed that something must happen. Do you see the way we pray in this church? Make Nigeria one. We don't pray. Nigeria is not one, and it can never be one. We are different nations tied together by force. We should still be one country, but let everyone govern himself the way he likes. Are you hearing me? Let the Niger Delta have their oil. Let the East have their resources. Let the Yoruba people have their resources. Let the North have their resources. Let them manage their security. Give them state police. Let everybody guard his borders. Let everybody generate his economy.
This is very simple. At a point in time in Nigeria had money, unlimited money in the 70s. On that basis, leaders just broke Nigeria down into bits and bits and bits and bits because everybody wants to be a governor, everybody to be a chairman of local government. And we now, where we have 36 states, 74 local governments. At this point, we are now insolvent. There is no money to maintain the bureaucracy again. That's the real issue. Because this government has just borrowed about $4.5 billion and they want to borrow more. So who is going to pay all these debts? And it's just to finance the bureaucracy of Nigeria. We have to reaggregate what we have disaggregated now, if we are really serious, unless we are living in fool's paradise. That's the first thesis. The second thesis is that, look, this country is very vast. We just have, the people in the northeast, they are not people in the southwest. The people in the northwest, they are different from people in the southeast and south-south. The terrain is different. So we belong to broad regions that have different characteristics, culture, even the terrain. A kilometer of road in northeast is not the same thing as a kilometer of road in the south-south. So why are we not facing reality of the way we are? That we are just different. And yet we can be in diversity and still be a good country. But running us in one command and control system in Abuja, it does not work, and it's not working. The third thesis is that in a federation, there are always two tiers, and Nigeria cannot be an exception. Federal tier and then the regional tier. In Nigeria, the states now don't have their own character. They have no constitution. They don't know who they are. Whereas we're supposed to have a federal constitution and then have regional constitutions. Even if you are serious, if you use the term states, states in other countries also have their own constitutions. We don't have it now. So we need to cure that defect of having a federal constitution, very slim, and then each sub-nationality should have its own constitution.
Prof, up front, are you seeking to dismember Nigeria from the area? Quick answer, so that I would like to continue.
There are examples in the world. Yes. Canada is, all Nigerians are running to Canada.
Okay.
Canada is maybe 20 times Nigerian size.
Absolutely. In terms of land.
But they have 10 provinces. Each province is on its own. And they are still Canadians. They have the same flag. Even Quebec speaks French. They don't speak English totally. And they are allowed to speak their French. It's not a threat to the English area.
Yeah.
Alberta is another province. They have oil. They don't share their oil with other provinces. They pay federal tax. but oil belongs to our Bata people. So it's just a rainbow.
We were doing that in Nigeria before anyway. It was the military that messed up everything.
If you have, there are going to be schedule of functions. Federal system will have its own functions. The region will have their own functions, and they will make laws and they make constitutions based on that. One thing that my approach will cure is take even a state now. Everything by convention. Whereas each region can have a constitution where it says how do you rotate power, even in the regions. It's now left as convention.
As a northerner, what restructuring means to you?
Nothing. Actually, as you said, it's a vague word. It doesn't have a meaning. When you say you are restructuring, what are you restructuring? What do you want? That's the problem. The problem is that we are yet to define what exactly we want. Now, if we don't identify what we want and clearly understand what we want, we can never agree. Now, tell me that, look, I want devolution of power. I want A, I want B, I want C. Is that restructuring to you? Now, to somebody, it might be different. Now, but to me personally, as I said, I don't even think it is important or necessary all this talk about restructuring. It's something that just started because of one reason or the other. Well,
no, I think this conversation, I mean, from my understanding so far, has been because there are grievances as to how development has occurred across the country. It's been claimed that some regions are more developed than others. Some have enjoyed better federal government presence compared to the others, and that the overall well-being of the Nigerian person, of the Nigerian, is not equal in terms of income. There's income inequality, high poverty levels compared to when you look at regions. So I'm thinking that perhaps is what has brought about. So when you say restructuring, maybe, like you said, maybe we don't know what we want, but something restructuring starts that change. That
shouldn't be a problem. This is purely a subject of political economy. As a nation, you know, one nation is more developed than another nation. One nation has more poverty than another nation. One nation is less educated than another. Now, in a nation that nations thinks to be united and developed and one single entity as a nation, it should be a problem for all the nation. Not a single problem for Northern Nigeria or Southern Nigeria or East. No, this is Nigeria. Now, as a Nigeria, it's a question of you give, you take. In a political economy, a system of political economy, you look at it that you have this, I have this. Now, how do we come together and build a nation? As long as we stand up and say, I am a Northerner, I am a Southerner, I am an Easterner, I want this for my people, I want this, we are not a nation.
But it appears that is our reality. That's what
that is not reality.
That is what we've always done.
Let's go back to history, Esther. What brought the first coup in Nigeria? It has nothing to do with corruption. There was not corruption as we call it that. It was simply that one part of the country think that I should have the president. And that this the other country, but the section that think they should have the country, they didn't have the country, the president. So they say, okay, why shouldn't we have such a coup? There was a coup, and it was agreed that that coup was a sectional coup. There shouldn't have ever been a coup in Nigeria at that time. Now, after that coup, what brought the civil war? It was not to develop Nigeria or to develop a section of Nigeria, no, because we think that we don't want to be with you. We want to go. All this talk. Now, when did we start to realize that one section is dominating another? This is not something of today or tomorrow. We should, ask my own perspective, that we should either try to look at ourselves as Nigerians, build Nigeria where each and every Nigerian will be proud to be a Nigerian and not being proud to be a Northerner or Easterner or Southerner.
Yes.
Or else we should decide not to be together. We should just decide to each one of us go his own way. That's my point. And
some or many are of the opinion that if we are to achieve that, if we are to tell ourselves that we are Nigerians, let us move forward as Nigerians, let's move forward as one entity, equitable and all of that, then we cannot continue with the status quo. We cannot continue with the kind of leadership perhaps that we have. We cannot continue with the way the regions are being, not equally, being developed, etc. So I'm thinking, perhaps from that point of view, that angle, then we can take up the word. Because whether we like it or not,
the problem of Nigeria
is one.
The problem of Nigeria is one. The quality of leadership is poor in Nigeria. And that quality of leadership, I'm not talking only the presidency, from the grassroots, one's leadership, anywhere, the quality of our leadership is extremely poor. extremely, extremely poor. Now, this is a nation where people start to think me first rather than the nation next. Now, we come from the minor to the bigger, rather than from the bigger perspective to the lower. The Nigerian situation is pathetic. We start from me, then my village, then my state, then my region, then my country. This is the situation we are in.
So that is an orientation.
That is the orientation. Now, there was only once or twice in this country that when I felt that people were trying to be proud that we are Nigerian. Probably you are Murtala Muhammad when he was the president of Nigeria, the military president of Nigeria. People started feeling that yes, we are Nigerian, because the leadership at that time was looking at each and everyone as Nigerian. You understand? Now after that, then we went into a situation whereby we look at leadership as a personal achievement, as something that, yes, I have arrived, yes, it is me, first before my state. Each and every person that now is aspiring to be a president or a governor or whatever in Nigerian situation, he is not thinking of building a Nigeria. He is thinking of, yes, I was once a governor, then he's thinking next to his own people, his own locality. That is not a nation. And secondly, look at the Nigerian situation. We don't have respect for one another. No nation, and I repeat, no nation will ever progress if they don't respect one another. It's not the issue of whether you have so many, this is the population or this is the richness you have. You have to respect yourselves, respect one another. I respect you, not simply because you are from my state or from my local. You are a Nigerian, I respect you. You respect me. Once you start to talk, a talk that you look at the gown he's wearing, now then you are demonizing, you are bringing down the quality of the nation, not my one person. Nigerians, there is nothing wrong with Nigeria that we are thinking for restructuring. The fundamental problem
you don't think that we need devolution of powers for one?
I don't think.
And allowing the states to control the resources because the federal government. You don't think the federal government is burdened with carrying all of that?
It all depends on how you use the power. It all depends on how you rule. If you are going to restructure today with the same mentality, with the same people, with the same thinking, Nigeria will continue to be what it is.
So you don't think that the country will be better off if states have control over their own resources?
No, I don't think so. Now, and what is this resources of the state? Are you talking about the states don't have a resource? The resource is owned by the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nigerian resources.
With the federal government as custodian, in court. So that is one of the challenges. They say, federal government, step out of the way. Let us have control. Let us till the ground. Let us harness this minerals or resources that we have in our soil.
Is that the biggest problem we have? Is that the only thing we are thinking of? That okay, you don't have minerals.
It's not about the fact that it's purely economics. It's all about.
It is economics. But what we are saying is that your resources and my resources can be harnessed to make Nigerians, individual Nigerians, people Nigerians, you and me, to be a better people. Now, it's not for you. Take, for instance, a state has so resources. It wants to control resources. State B doesn't have. It has nothing. Now, what you are telling me that you are not sharing, this is mine. And I'm telling you that in a family, in a nation, where we live as a nation, yours and mine are ours. The problem, as I told you, that is simply leadership, the quality of a leader.